That was a pretty awesome game, guys. I got pretty excited over there, as I will actually admit, I'm a Protoss player, and my favorite unit in the entire game, well, Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, Brood War, StarCraft 1 Vanilla, definitely the High Templar. I love watching Psionic Storms, and I will say, after I was actually, I used to be a little bit of a background history. I used to be an Amazon intern. I'm actually going to be working for Amazon in the future, but regardless of that, I got a chance to cast a lot of different Amazon players, Protoss players games, and they tend to love Psionic Storm. I have to say, they really love Psionic Storm. And we kind of saw a little bit of that, so really cool to see. And we're going to have to wait and see how the next game goes, as the game series is actually tied up 1-1. So this means it could be anyone's game. We're at least going to see a game number 4, so we at least have 2 more games coming out, and that's going to be pretty awesome. It's basically turned into a best of 3, and my chat is actually bugging out a little bit, so I can't actually see everything. But thank you so much to IBM SC2 for the compliments. I definitely enjoy casting all these games, and honestly, I just have to give a round of applause to all the freaking awesome players that have been playing all these games and just showing us these awesome strategies and just showing us awesome micro decision making. I mean, without them, we'd probably, let's be honest, we'd probably all just be sitting here staring at the 1v1 ladder button. Find match, yeah, right. Go to hell. But anyways, with that being said, we're going to get ready to jump into game number 3. It's going to be a Kayaks representing Team Amazon. He's going to be the Zerg, and I know he's the Zerg this time because I remember it. And also, he's set up as Terran in the game, so now I'm questioning the fact that I just said I know for a fact that a Kayaks is Zerg. Oh shoot, a Kayaks is the Terran. Anyways, it's a Zerg versus Terran this time, and it looks like a Kayaks is going to be the Terran versus John Oldman, who's going to be the Zerg player. And yeah, it's definitely, a Kayaks is definitely the Terran in this game. So, just going to go ahead and let them know that the caster is in fact ready. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into this game. The map is going to be Core Hall City. Now, a lot of you might not be too familiar with Core Hall City. It's one of the newer maps. I believe it's just new with Heart of the Swarm. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it when the game actually gets started, as even I haven't really seen a whole lot of it. So that means that there's going to be a lot of interesting strategies that are going to be very possible on this map. A lot of strategies that might not have been explored, a lot of different exploits that you might find on the map that people haven't really figured out yet how to deal with. So all that kind of stuff and room for innovation, as well as the fact that we're going to be seeing a new matchup, Zerg versus Terran. I'm pretty excited. So with the game getting started, we're going to go ahead and jump in and introduce the players after the game loads. I'm going to go ahead and correct the score screen once again, as it is now 1-1, and we have John Oldman versus the Kayaks. Oh yeah. And actually, yeah, we see the map over here right now. You can see the 4 different spawn positions and kind of interesting layout of the map. The nice thing about this map that's really key is that your natural is actually just inside of your base. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in and introduce these players. Spawning over here in the left side of Core Hall City, we have the Blue Zerg representing Team Facebook, because Facebook is blue. Let's be honest, everyone knows that. It is going to be Facebook's John Oldman. And he's going to be the old geezer playing on this side of the map, but on the other side of the map, his opponent spawning over here on the right-hand side of the map as the Red Terran player. He's going to be representing Team Amazon. His name is going to be Amazon's Akayaks for alliterations. The alliterated Akayaks from Amazon. Shoot, I said from. The alliterated Amazon Akayaks. There we go. Yeah, that's an alliteration. I know English. But regardless, we're going to go ahead and see. This map is really interesting just because, again, you have this built-in natural expansion. It's super duper easy to take. But the trade-off is in fact going to be that there is a much wider ramp that you have to deal with walling off. Now, for a lot of Terran players, this really doesn't prove to be that big of a difficulty, especially since we can see over here that John Oldman really not going for any kind of crazy early pools, not going for some kind of 6 pool, and just hope that he gets to his opponent's base before the wall up is done. But regardless, Akai's going to go for that barracks, and he's going to eventually get that wall up. And of course, what that also means is that he can safely go ahead and take this expansion. Doesn't have to worry about doing some kind of additional wall off. And yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see some kind of 1-Rex expansion coming out of Akai's. And in the meanwhile, we're going to be seeing some nice little greedy play from John Oldman. It's not really too greedy, but regardless, he's going to be going for that hatchery first. And I mean, honestly, we see Zerg players tend to go for hatchery first anyways these days. I mean, what's there really to be scared of? There is a couple of cute little plays that a Terran player can do with, say, his first SCV and first couple of Marines. You can go ahead and try and do a little bit of Marine pressure, but you actually don't see that often these days. Generally, players tend to favor that Hellion Banshee style of play, and I'm curious to see how exactly Akaix is going to decide to play this out. Now, I will note, actually, in his last week's games, he actually played a Terran versus Zerg, the same matchup, and it wasn't on Core Hall City. I actually don't remember the map once again, but he did actually opt to go for those Reactor Hellions, and ooh, actually, we're going to be seeing a bit of a different play this game, as, you know, previously he seemed to favor Reactor Hellion into Banshees, but this time it looks like he's going for 2 barracks just to get that wall off done, and oh, Reapers. Oh, for those of you that don't know, or maybe you're watching the video, Reapers right now just recently got the patch that they no longer require the Tech Lab add-on. So now you can just produce Reapers straight out of the barracks. Now this is going to mean that Akaix is going to be going for a 2-Rex Reaper opening. He's going to see how much damage you can do. Now Reapers do significantly less damage now. They do 4 damage, but they will be able to be produced so much faster. Now it takes quite a few more hits to actually kill off that their drone, and we end up seeing actually with the regeneration rate, he's going to be able to take 5 hits, or maybe that was 6 hits. I think it was 5 or 6. But regardless, the Reaper still regenerates health, and he's going to be able to do some nice damage to the Zerglings as well, especially since those Zerglings are not going to have speed for any time in the near future. There is 0 gas geysers taken for John Oldman at this point, but he's going to have a lot of those Zerglings that try and deal with this. Now we're going to wait and see. It looks like Akaix moving in. He's going to have difficulty dealing with their Queen, and Queen easily going to actually fend off those Reapers, and that's actually going to be a saving grace for John Oldman. And of course, behind all this, Akaix isn't silly. He's not going to be doing some kind of big all-in with just 2 Reapers and say, oh god, well he produced a Queen, I guess I lose. No, Amazon would be very, very upset with him if he was banking on that to be his winning play. No, he's going to go ahead and expand behind this. He's going to just try and do this as an opening to try and force Zerglings, and also just try and pick off a couple of those their drones. Now he does get a nice little position. These Queens, despite being on creep, are going to move a little bit slow. We actually end up seeing quite a few of these drones actually taking some damage. We're going to have to wait and see how many of these drones and Zerglings have been picked off, as right now it looks like 4 drones have been picked off, 5 drones have been picked off, 6 drones have been picked off. Wow, these Reapers are actually being super duper effective. You have to be super careful though. Oh, unfortunately, not target firing down from John Oldman. Does not manage to pick off that weakened Reaper, but these Reapers are going to be regenerating their health so quickly. I mean, you would think that they were burrowed roaches, and I want to note that behind all this, we actually see that factory and the starport going down, and we're likely going to be seeing, yep, Reactor Hellions going to be the follow-up. So Akaix just taking a Wings of Liberty build and just adapting it a little bit, and I really have to say I love the style play. Now it looks like John Oldman gonna go ahead and take 2 of these their extractors, and we're gonna have to wait and see. I feel like you might be throwing down a Roach Warren in a little bit. We'll have to wait and see if that's actually going to be the case. But here we go again. The Reapers coming in. They're getting some more kills. They're all staying alive. One of those Reapers is so low in health, and one of them does go down, but the other ones are still continuing to rack up kills. 12 drone kills at this point. You can see it's 26 to 28 SCVs and to drones, but I mean, honestly, a Zerg player wants to be a bit ahead in workers at this point. I mean, yeah, he has 10 drones on the way right now, but how is he going to be able to deal with these Hellions that are going to be coming out very, very soon? We have the Reactor Hellions and Widow Mines coming out. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Oh my god, 2 starports. What on earth? Okay, I have to go and jump back to something I was bringing up before in last week's games against National Instrument versus Amazon. Akaix was playing a Terran versus Zerg, and what he ended up doing was he opened with a Reactor Hellion, and actually, oh, look at that, wow, really speedy medevac. But he opened a Reactor Hellion, and then also went into Cloak Banshees. As we can see, the Banshees are now being produced, got a couple of Widow Mines to be defensive, and then also produced some Thors. So basically, he had this mech army of Hellions, Banshees with Cloak, and Thors, and then a couple Widow Mines to be defensive against Mutalisk. And I think that we might be seeing a very similar thing going on right now. We actually see a 2 Hellion, 2 Widow Mine drop. We're going to see how effective it is, as those Widow Mines could be very effective against all of those drones if they are not careful. And the drone count, there goes some more of those drones, and these 2 Hellions are going to be slightly effective. They're not getting a hugely massive number of kills, but I mean, what detection is there? The lair is in fact done, so he needs to start morphing an Overseer. Hopefully he actually realized that there are in fact 2 Widow Mines over there, as 20 drones have already been killed, 8 more drones on the way, and honestly, we have additional Widow Mines on the way. So this could be a very scary situation over here. And where exactly is that Banshee? Oh, it's taking out the Destructible Rocks to the 3rd. A nice little play. And of course, that Medevac is going to go ahead and go back. We actually end up seeing 2 Widow Mines about... Oh, actually, it looks like they killed off a couple more units. Looks like we have 6 on this one, a Corporal Widow Mine, and 5 on this one. It looks like another Corporal. And, you know, you would never think that a Widow Mine, you know, it's a mine. You don't really think of a Sergeant Widow Mine or a General Widow Mine. But apparently, in the Terran army, they're not going to be, you know, prejudice against whether you're robotic or if you have a brain or not. You can still get promotions, and it's a very important part of your daily lifestyle. Looks like a couple more drones have been killed off, and wow, I mean, this Overseer finally coming in, and finally these Widow Mines will be taken out, but not before racking up quite a substantial number of kills. Now, a single Zergling does manage to make its way all the way over into the natural expansion, and all of these SCVs just coming from the bad part of the town, they know how to beat up a Zergling just quite right. And I'm really curious to see why actually Kayaks has not gone in for any kind of attack with those Banshees. I haven't really seen him do any harassment, but now he's going to be moving with 4 of these Widow Mines. Not sure how effective this will actually be, as we actually end up seeing a Spire going to be out, as well as the fact that, I mean, there is an Overseer. Oh! Oh my god, did you guys just see that? Oh! Oh my god, okay, I take back what I said. We have 49 drones killed, and the Medevac gets away with all of the Widow Mines. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, that was just beautiful. This right here is the MVP. We can see 34 drones to 50 SCVs, and a Kayaks is just looking to be in a fantastic position in this game. Now, he does also have 2 starports out, can start producing some other units, could maybe make some, yeah, the Raven I was about to say, just to prepare for any kind of weird things that could be going on. Also has Widow Mines. Remember, with Widow Mines, you can be defensive. You can put some Widow Mines in your middle line, and then you will actually be able to defend pretty well against those Mutalisks that are most likely going to be coming out very soon. Yeah, there we end up seeing the Mutalisks coming out. And look at the effect that all of this general harassment has had on John Oldman. He's missing larva injects. He's starting to lose some overlords to that Viking harass. And I mean, there's 4 more Widow Mines over here, and he just didn't notice actually walk over there and burrow. And now we actually end up seeing a Thor drop. Thank you, Akayax, for just making this the most magnificent game ever. The most aggressive style of Terran possible in Heart of the Swarm, probably. And that Medevac, oh, he's boosting away, but I think he's gonna have this very, very sad moment where he realizes, oh wait, I don't have enough nitro. I have to get the nitro. As I don't know if you play Need for Speed. Did he just take out some larva? I think he just took out some larva. That was kind of funny. But regardless, we finally do have a couple of those mules out on the map. But do we end up seeing any Widow Mines actually burrowed in those mineral lines? I don't actually see any. We have a couple of missile turrets going up, and that's definitely going to be quite effective, especially with 3 missile turrets in each of these mineral lines. But I'd still like to see maybe just like 1 Widow Mine buried in there. And we actually end up saying, oh my god! Oh, these Widow Mines could start doing a massive amount of damage to those mules if he's not careful. He needs to actually, oh my god. Now we have a Fire Bat drop, or a Hell Bat drop, I should say, as he just takes out even more workers. 58 workers have been killed. We're sitting at 35 drones again for poor John Oldman. I mean, all of these new fancy schmancy units, they just weren't around. John Oldman just misses the good old days, back in the old man days where you didn't have Widow Mines, and when there was a drop, you just took all your drones and you just kind of hid them or just split them. Now he has to deal with the Widow Mines, he has to deal with the Thor drops and all this other kind of crazy shenanigans. Oh man, poor John Oldman. But I will say the fact that he is still in this game means that he still has a plan, yet he still has some hope of winning. So if you are on Team Facebook or just cheering on Team Facebook, please just shout out to your computer. Nobody is listening, but it doesn't matter. All right, I care, and Facebook cares. Go ahead and give a nice shout out to John Oldman. he has a plan. He's the man with a plan, as he would have left the game if he didn't. So we're going to wait and see what is his plan, what is his great hope to come back in this game, and it looks like that hope might just be the Greater Spire. The Greater Spire, the tried and true testament to Zerg play, as so many Terran armies have fallen to the Greater Spire. But we'll have to wait and see. Does Akaix have some sort of a method of preparing for it? Now, the one thing you have to remember is that even though the Greater Spire will be done very soon, I'm not sure that John Oldman actually has a whole lot of resources to actually take advantage of that. So we'll have to wait and see, and it looks like Akaix just going to be a little bit more passive with his main army, going to continue with these small army drops, but with all of those Mutos out, oh, this could actually spell doom and disaster for all these Hellbats, and oh no, the Mediv actually just gets out over here, and even if all these Hellbats get picked off, they are still going to be able to do some nice damage to all of these drones. We end up seeing so many of those drones getting so low on health. I think one more Hellbat fire right around this area. We're taking out a good number of drones right there, but looks like that doesn't end up happening. Here we end up seeing that Hellion, Thor, and I guess a couple of siege tanks and banshees mixed in. Just a really ultra super duper mech style coming out from Akaix. So Akaix loving the mech style, going for that 4th expansion. A single Zergling going to try and take it out, but it meets its true maker as the Hellion just instantly roasted with blue flame and +1/+1. Actually, let's just go ahead and take a look at the upgrades, as we do end up having 0 upgrades, unfortunately, for those flying air Zerg units, but we do have +1 missile attacks on the way, as well as +1 melee attacks, I think. Do the Zerglings have anything more than +1 melee attacks? It doesn't look like, I don't think so anyways. But regardless, we're going to see all these Mules try and come in. They're going to try and deal some good damage to those Vikings, but the Thors are actually just landing so many really key hits, and we actually have +1/+1 on the Zerglings, so forgive me on that. But these Hellbats are just going to be able to toss and turn and just eliminate all of those Zerglings so quickly. But the Zerglings doing a good job catching a couple of those units at a bit of a bad angle, but these Broodlords are just instantly getting taken out. It looks like Akaix was very much prepared for that Broodlord transition, and John Oldman is going to be looking to be in a very, very rough position as this entire army just streams its way across the map. There's going to be the GG coming out from John Oldman, as we end up seeing Amazon take game number 3